Hello, everyone, and welcome back to RGL and to the start of a brand new season of competitive TF2. RGL Season 17 is here, and to kick things off, our first matchup is going to be the Greasy Dothogs versus Vassell. My name is TC Mano, and joining me tonight is Marmaloo and Dolphin on production, as always. Marmaloo, how are you doing, and are you excited for both this match and also the season as a whole? Because if you guys haven't looked at who's playing this season, there's some pretty stacked names.
Well, it looks like we actually did start, so
oh my god,
getting straight into it. Love to see that. Nice to standard mid. The side of Paul kind of jumping in here, getting some aggro. The point all over, both teams kind of dueling over it. A lot of damage coming in from Dingo, cleaning it up, but a trade pipe coming onto Soar is gonna let the side of Greasy Dothogs kind of get out, hold second, but caught us off guard a little bit with that mid there.
We did get caught off just a little bit. Good on you for catching that one, because I was completely in the beginning of the game spiel, but it is going to be the first mid one for Vassell. And if you're looking at the screen, there should be some familiar players on that team. People like High Five, people like Dingo. But there's also a few new ones, people like Greg, who have, I think, maybe roster road last season, but this is going to be their first full season in Invite. And already being on what looks to be a pretty strong team is going to be a bit of a test for them. Joining them is going to be Soar and Raven, but two scouts. And when you look at just the scout duos throughout this season, they're a bit on the more inexperienced side when you look at how good they should be, as Greg comes in for a bomb onto Dank. Is not going to get the rocket, but a good first attempt nonetheless.
Yeah, this blue team kind of just being an amalgamation of a lot of players from last season, all kind of returning, Dingo, Hubert back together, Soar, and then picking up new players like you said. But otherwise, the Greasy Dothogs, a team that has played in previous seasons, they went to the last LAN, and they are at least confirmed to go to the upcoming LAN. Have that be RGL as well afterwards, but the Fireside LAN coming up in about May. So this is exciting. This should be a pretty good playoff preview, and this is a very important match to start off the season to get yourself in a good spot to make the playoffs, or at least get even better seeding for said playoffs coming up.
Yeah, because there is a lot of competition, as we now have Greg bombing in, trying to make a little bit of space. Is just going to jump back and play his life, not going to die right there. High five. The Soul Soldier just watching that house there, making sure no one on the Greasy Dothogs maybe tries to go for some type of shove backwards. Sin Karma taking a bit of damage. Now we have Greg coming in again. Gets a nice rocket on the Shamu. Might find another on the Sin Karma, and does. That's going to be two opening picks. Everyone else on the Greasy Dothogs is going to have to escape. Pablo might be caught out. Might be able to get out to safety. Is getting chased down by both of the scouts. Catches an arrow and is going to be able to stay alive. But that's still two down, and a demo means that these chokes are open for the cell to get in.
Yeah, and Greg just with a crazy bomb. I've never heard of him before, and then I saw like some stream in the stream, and he gets another kill. High five comes in on the follow-up. They get a force, they get a soldier kill, and Hubert should be able to get out. Actually, Sword getting caught means that the chase can come through, but Raven looks like he is gonna escort Hubert right out of there, and they can come back for the refight with their Uber ad and their spawners.
Yeah, that pick onto Soar, like you said, basically allowed the Greasy Dothogs to get a little bit more ground here. They're still at risk of falling, as they are going to be at very big Uber disad, and you can immediately see Vassell working their way over through Valley. Greg leading the charge, getting some opening space. They want to try and take this for free, but there is a flank shove, yeah, going in onto mid.
Well, that's big, and they can start getting the back cap. The problem here is this could go really well or really bad. You have to push into the team with the Uber. If they can stall long enough, it looks like they are going to do a great job. No one is coming back for Pablo, and Dank is going to live through this, which this could fall apart very, very poorly for the side of the cell if they can't clean up Pablo. When he gets another kill, he should get traded out of this truck, but he has done more than enough to get them back in this game.
Dingo is so weak, and if he went down there, that would have been disastrous. Is going to be able to stay alive, so they can capture up this mid and try and lock down these choke points, but that doesn't deny the fact that Greasy Dothogs are going to have their Uber advantage. They're immediately making their way into Valley. Bulldog just getting some opening spam here, trying to maybe get some space for the team. Greg going to be going in for a high bomb. It's going to be wrapping around, but the Ubers come out from the Dothogs. They haven't found anyone with it just quite yet. Raven, super duper weak, should be able to stay alive, but Soar and Greg, these times, they're going to be going for the flank in through behind. They find one onto Pablo. Now they're going to be starting the back cap.
Yeah, and the Dogs are trying to come back as soon as possible with these 2 players behind. It's going to allow for the rest of the cell to just hold W. Huge air shot coming in, catching Greg, but Greg's in and out. Sword gets in and kills Dank. And the demo, it's just going to be this scout in lobby who may get cleaned up, but Paul Dog getting Greg and staying alive behind. This so far has been the game of just getting behind on both sides, and Paul Dog living late. I don't know, unless someone can sync something up, he's not going to be able to get too much done other than kind of hold these spawners back. But with all the action happening there, huge Uber ad coming from the cell, and this is a great opportunity to start their match off of.
Yeah, Paul Dog just hiding over in Valley on that little lip above the health pack is going to meet Raven and probably going to lose that one, especially with a bunch of other cell players coming back to help him out. So that is going to be basically an opening pick for the cell. They have Uber advantage and now player advantage as well. Can be very, very dire for the Greasy Dothogs to try and hold this. They do have the Pyro in position. It is going to actually blast this Uber back well enough. The Pyro actually haven't gone down. No one has fallen to this Uber. They do get a bit of cap time onto the point. Good job from Soar there. They trade them out, so still doable as they collapse in. The Soldiers doing so much damage, but all that Uber getting stuffed by that Pyro. The Sentry Gun not going down and out, but Chase coming in. Will they all fall? Hubert is so weak, barely going to be able to get out to safety, and it was looking rough for the Greasy Dothogs there, but that Pyro was absolutely clutch.
Yeah, that is what everyone tries to do in the last one. That was perfect. There were 4 stickies on the ground ready to juggle, the Pyro playing right around the corner, and the gun juggling everybody there. And the Pyro gets out, and they do a great job defending that. And now, Uber's going to be coming into mid. They're going to try and milk it. They get through completely free. It is all on Greg on those vents. Kind of jumping in, gets a good rocket on a Dank. Dank milks that, and Dank is very, very greedy with his Ubers, and that pays dividends. They're going to get 2 picks off, being the flank of the cell, and it's going to allow them to kind of make some plays and try and get a force out on 2 while they finish the cap on mid.
Yeah, well, they do that. Paul Dog taking a bit of damage. Oh, they just go in aggressively. Vassell do kind of reading the room and just trying to take it while they have it. It's going to be popped into the sky high. It's going to be Hubert lands across, going for the melee kill. Gets cleaned up by Loaf. Not long for the world. High Five also falls. So this has been a successful trade for the Greasy Dothogs, especially more so because Hubert is down. They're going to have both player advantage and heals advantage. So if they are feeling bold enough, they can just walk this in without any Ubers at play at all.
That may have been a Hubert moment, the skybox, but the side of Greasy Dothogs already peeking in the last, they're taking a lot of ground. There's a gun up in spawn, which is going to stop any aggression deep in there, but peeking, seeing what they have, they notice they can't get anything, so they're going to play off their Uber ad here, which is pretty substantial, 40%.
It is pretty substantial Uber ad. Sometimes you'll see teams go in and they will be caught out by the Sentry Gun, and even though they do have Uber ad, they'll lose too many players to the point that they have to back up. So the Greasy Dothogs just opting to play it safe, and now they're going to be coming in with this Uber on the left side, leading it in on Shamu and Sin Karma. Raven trying to do something similar with the Pyro. Doesn't have quite the same effect as everyone on the Greasy Dothogs is in. They get a bit of cap time onto the point. They trade 1 for 1 out. Pablo finding another onto High Five, so now they can just heal up and regroup. But Hubert does have Uber, so they can maybe try and at least get the force out, but no, they're going to be backing up. They don't have any space. Loaf just barely staying alive, and that is going to be a well-held point from the cell.
Yeah, great hold there. Great job from the Pyro coming in, and then just playing for the Uber allows it where Dogs don't have a single chance. With the 40% ad, if something doesn't happen quickly, you're going to lose to the Uber ad. And it looks like the cell trying to get through that main door, and they're trying to bait the damage, but it's so difficult to get through these doors. Soar peeking through, making so much space. Greg getting pushed by Loaf, and Loaf gets cleaned up. And with all that, they end up taking 2 for free, and it's going to be an even Uber situation, which, if you're the side of the cell, you're going to take that. And they are going to end up pushing off this player at Loaf getting delayed, which gives them more opportunity to work. And the flank from the cell have been really, really aggressive on these points.
They have, and maybe all eyes on Greg and sort of try and go for something explosive like that, but I think they maybe take just a little bit too much time as they are going to back up. Greg actually very, very weak, but it's going to be Shamu dies over to some sticky traps from Dingo. Well placed there. That is going to stop all the aggression from the Greasy Dothogs as they were maybe trying to chase everyone in the cell. And now actually with that pick, they're coming back in. Raven making some space over in Valley, so they want to try and use this player advantage as High Five jumps in, does so much damage onto Loaf. He's going to have to get the pack all the way on his side of a truck, and with that space, I don't think they're going to be able to do anything. Paul Dog finding a kill onto Soar over in Lunchbox as everyone else on the cell, scrambles back into their defensive positions.
Just looking at the side of the cell, love how they're calling it, and they are definitely a group of very aggressive players, and it's really interesting to see from a lot of the really, really slow, methodical play, just kind of going really far in as a team, just making some space. It looks like the Dothogs trying to make some room. Dog see if he can get anything. Doesn't see anything good, so he's just going to reset. And with 3 minutes left, it's going to start ticking and ticking, and I wouldn't be surprised to see our first off class of the season after this next kind of sack wave if they want to go for it.
I wouldn't be too surprised either. Over on this cell, I guess you'd be looking probably to soar, maybe high five, to try and go for that sniper, and then over on the Greasy Dothogs, probably Pablo. We saw it last season and every season that he's kind of played with this roster. He's a very mean sniper, as Dog gonna be jumping around, trying to make some space, takes a lot of damage, but here's the committal out from low, does a bit of damage on the Hubert, but a nice serve from him to stay alive, but high five over the back line. He's doing so much damage, but no kills.
3 people going down. Loaf living for so long, somehow just juggling Dingo into death, and then the rest, or 2 more players from the side of the cell falling over. And this is going to be on the side of the cell. Do they want to hold close? Are they going to play for spawners? And it looks like they're playing close, and the spawners are coming in, which should stop the momentum of this push. But, you know, we could still see a sack here. But it looks like they're going to chill out, wait for Loaf to come back.
They are going to chill. So we have been denied the off class. Actually, now as I say that, I see Pablo running back.
He's just bowing down while Pablo comes back to switch. A little weird, but you know, if it gets the job done, it gets the job done. But like you said, Pablo's sniper rolling out, and you know, it had to start at some point in time. Let's just hope shots are hit. Otherwise, it's going to be very uneventful.
It will be very uneventful. But even if shots aren't hit, they can maybe still use the threat of the sniper to try and get something else going. Maybe have Hubert play in an unoptimal position for their soldiers to get in, but the sentry gun can be a little bit of a nuisance if it's played well, so they might just try and opt to spam that out instead, as Sin Karma over on the left side taking a bit of damage is just gonna have to back up. Pablo trying to go for the upward directs isn't gonna hit them onto Greg, unfortunate for him, so just taking their time. I don't think Pablo has showed his hand just quite yet. They might have spotted Badot, but he's over at Shutter waiting for someone to open it. Sin Karma is going to be that man, and now they should definitely know about the Pablo sniper. It's going to be everyone on the side of the cell to try and make sure they keep tabs on him, know where he's peeking from, so they don't allow him to get an easy shot onto Hubert.
Yeah, and just, you know, taking their time. Raven has opted for the counter sniper, just actually holding this far left angle, which Dog has been peeking a lot, and that is the main kind of way you try and kill this gun. But like you were saying, the sniper does force Hubert to either be really far forward or really far back, which can be exploited, but you gotta be starting to make some moves here as the 2 minutes of the clock has come down. A nice headshot trade coming out. Dog getting hit, and it's just gonna cause him to kind of slow down and take more and more time to get set up again, get something going.
It is indeed, and Meadow works last is one of those kind of classic stalemates. Oh, we do have both soldiers maybe trying to go for some Loaf. He's the only one who commits, but gets body shot high into the sky because of the sentry gun just launching him up there, and then Raven body shot just to seal things down. So maybe an opportunity for Raven to try and go for an aggressive peek, but really wasn't, I guess, in position to. He's going to be on the spy, and if there's actually one thing I know about Raven, he is the dedicated spy checker. Like, he will always check spy to make sure that they're not being caught, getting caught off guard. I've seen in scrims, like on Product, he'll spy check at the top of every round to make sure that they're not insta-running snipers, so definitely not too surprised to see him being proactive on that front.
But can he spy check the shoes on Loaf? Loaf's got those leather shoes on, the shoes of knockback reduction, the man treads, and that's going to allow for his jump coming through main that he just did to kind of be uncontested. He's going to take more damage from rocket jumping, but if any knockback hits him, it won't really have much of an impact. Dog going for a fade, Loaf coming in right away, they get the force, they don't actually connect with that much damage, but 2 soldiers in your face, kind of hard not to pop. But with that being said, 40 seconds left in the round, and it's gonna cause for kind of a quick repush that needs to result in something for the Uber out of the Dothogs to kind of result in success here. And Pablo also walking back for this. So this clock is really, really going to play a factor. It's going to force the point, which, you know, could be good or bad.
It could indeed be good if the Cell are in position. They might be able to exploit that to their benefit, recognizing that the Greasy Dothogs need to get on the point sooner than later. But now the Uber does come in over from main, launching in the Pyro, not in position to do anything as Dog is on the point, but he's Ubered, so he's not capping at all. There's two falling on the Greasy Dothogs, Sin Karma and Shamu. Dog getting blasted, reflected by the Pyro, and it's only going to be Dank left alive as Loaf is hiding over in lobby. Seems like the Cell want to try and push out Loaf, trying to go for a back cap. Is going to get the trade, but no one touches the point in time, and that is going to be a stalemate. We're 15 minutes in, Marmalou, to the first match of this season, and no one has scored a round.
Peak cinema. But kind of a missed opportunity. They should have gone for 2, especially with that much cap time on last. They could start on the 2 with a giant Uber ad and player ad. But they're going to opt for a mid reset, which I don't think we really got a good view of what happened on that last mid. But let's see, both teams kind of opting for a standard mid, just normal spam, nothing giant coming out. But it looks like the beam from the Dothogs going through that upper door, fast aggression, but that's going to net, and Sin Karma getting picked, Dog getting picked, and the aggression not paying off at all. Kind of committing the beam in the top door is not going to let Sin Karma get some help anytime soon.
Yeah, he just got whittled down so quickly by all of the spam, and now we have Greg immediately coming in, landing on, I think, a Shamu's head there, and has been able to net his team a bit more space without that demo man there to lock down those doorways. So this time it's going to be Vassell, still going to be even Ubers, but Greg immediately trying to get in before the Greasy Dothogs are set up. Soar coming in as well, not able to do enough damage onto Dank, so going to be able to hold on to it. Now with 2 players down, the Greasy Dothogs can try and go for their own counter sack. Loaf in position over by the shutter door. It's really going to be on him because everyone else is over in this lobby area, unless they just want to try and take a trade here.
Ooh, that is a bad pick to have, especially so late. The nice thing is Soar is on Sniper, which means there's not going to be as much immediate pressure, but the most powerful class at stopping blocking doors is not here, which is going to mean there's going to be some good pressure coming out. The gun taking some damage. Pablo not going to be able to hold this for much longer. The pipe comes out. There goes the gun. There goes the NG. The Uber's going to come out. Shamu getting dropped. They're going to trade out for Dingo, but it looks like there's going to be cap time from High Five and the rest of the side of the Cell. Actually coming back in with the Uber. They're going to pick off Loaf, and it's just Sin Karma and Dank left, and there is no way they can hold this, and that is a great push off of that Sin Karma kind of overextension.
Yeah, really, really good, because like you said, even though they did have Soar, they just immediately went in with their soldiers and were able to get that first pick onto the engineer, then the sentry gun, and just force the Greasy Dothogs into an unfavorable position. That drop of Shamu was very, very unfortunate, but our first round of the season going in the favor of the Cell. Now we go on to the third mid. Let's see if they take a little bit of early damage here, the Greasy Dothogs, because last time they've lost the past 2 mids just due to early deaths. This time going to be rotating over towards their valley area. Sin Karma taking a bit is going to get healed up as the Cell have so much space on the point, and they just spam down Dank without really committing anyone too far forward. Now Dog trying to go in to try and do anything at all. It's not going to make anything work, as it's only going to be Pablo and Loaf, the last 2 alive, and the Cell really starting to come alive on these mids.
Yeah, and the Dothogs once again going for some fast aggression. I looked like something like both soldiers fast rolling out, but they're trading so much health and they're not taking the ground off it, which they just put themselves in a bad spot. And the Cell is fine playing with these mids as standard as possible. They are winning the spam battle, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they're just keeping it that way. Look good on these mids.
They do look very good, and now they have got a full Uber finish to use with in onto last minute, lead it in on Dingo and Raven. Flying in is going to be Loaf, trying to get into the respawn. They take down the sentry gun, a bit of early cap time onto the point, but they do lose one. High Five taken down, traded out for Dog, as everyone on Greasy Dothogs just coming out of spawn and mulching all of these players. It was looking good. They had a bit of space, but now Dingo might get caught over in lobby, is going to be able to surf out to the shutter door, but the Greasy Dothogs on their aggression should be able to get in onto second. They've got a very big Uber advantage, and that was a very good last hold from them.
Yeah, and with the being the beginning of the season, I'll give them some passes on these sloppy last pushes, because we've seen some pretty bad ones so far. But, you know, with a lot of these teams first time playing together or getting back together, they won't have the kind of fundamentals all down. But the good spam coming onto Dank's going to slow them down. They're going to end up trying to go through this top door, popping through. they should only lose one player at most. Greg looks like he's going to get out, but Soar on that sniper, the chase does not come through. But now they're going to have Uberad with a sniper, which you'll most likely see him kind of walk an alley, and it's going to be on the side of Dothogs. Are they going to try to push behind? Are they going to try and jump in? Both looks like he's opting to be on the vent, coming in really high, fading off. And with the fade, this does nothing but benefit the sniper, and they're just going to end up giving this point up because there was nothing happening there. It was a good call to kind of call it.
Yeah, there was nothing happening, so now the Cell have been able to get mid. They're leaving their sniper to cap, as they do still have Uber advantage, around 50% of it, so they can definitely try and make something work here onto second Greg. Once again, opening things up, making some space, but it is going to be low, shoving into House, is going to trade out with high five, but Greg getting onto Pablo. That's going to be 2 in the favor of the Cell, as a headshot rings out onto Sin Karma. Nice stuff there from Soar. Even if he doesn't get the kill, that is just going to solidify the Greasy Dothogs stance of getting the heck out of second. They're once again back on their last. It is going to be even Ubers this time, though, and they do have all their players up. So with Dingo kind of getting juggled over on the right side and going down, I think it's going to be a little bit before we have any more sacks coming out from the Cell.
And the Dothogs wanting to kind of put some pressure on the sniper. Sniper just chilling on the bridge. Greg getting a great pick on Loaf, which is going to allow for the reset and a very late pick on a projectile, with Dingo having to walk all the way back. They may not get too much off of it, but now they already have their off class, and we're going to see how they're going to want to pressure this, and they're looking like they're playing through this shutter.
Looks like it's Soar just scoped up there. Greg is going to open it. Soar had maybe an opportunity onto a scout, but it's a little difficult to hit those, so
He's
not going to go for it. Yeah,
he wanted the full charge just for like a minute, caught some damage, didn't get anything off. But looks like they're rotating more into kind of this main part of this right side banana part of lobby. Get some more pressure. I would not be surprised to see a soldier sack at this point. The whole point of the sniper and the power of it is it, like we said, it puts the medic in a undesirable spot, either too far back, too far forward, but some spam coming out. The soldiers kind of having a little meeting on that far left side results in nothing. Dingo's trying to hit some quirky pipes, but none of them are connecting, and it's not going to net in anything besides a high 5 death going for that gun.
Yeah, so that just means that everyone on the Cell are going to back up onto the second point proper. Loaf is by the shutter trying to spam, but I don't think he's going to go for anything. So they're just going to take this time on the Greasy Dothogs to whittle it down. There is only 7 minutes left in the server before we head into infinite overtime, and 2 minutes before a round reset. We have already had one, and 2 minutes does sound like a lot of time, but you know, when you're kind of moving at this pace, especially with the sniper, and then you just lose one accidentally, like high five, that can be 40 seconds, and you do that a couple of times, sooner or later, you're just looking at needing to go for some type of Uber exchange.
And they're going to send a double soldier and get some damage, but Dank is a very hard force to get. You'll see he's going to milk a lot of these. He may drop 1 or 2, but he likes to hold on to his Ubers. But trading out 2 players for 3 is going to basically just take more and more time off that clock. And it's interesting to see what are they going to pull out on the side of the Cell. Looks like they're going to switch back to a scout. Greg is going to be on default, so we're most likely going to see either another big sack wave or they're going to opt for an Uber trade of some sort.
Ooh, Paul Dog, however, is on banner on defense, so even if the Cell aren't doing anything wacky, Paul Dog is. So even if they do go for an Uber exchange actually from the Cell, they might be a little bit surprised to see that there's still going to be some added bonuses for the Greasy Dothogs in the post-fight if everything goes as planned. So Raven just maybe scouting out, but goes down to some sticky traps, and now here comes in high five, maybe just trying to turn this into a sack wave if it wasn't already going to be one. Yeah.
Well, with that, they're going to get 3 players down, 2 of those being soldiers, and it looks like the Dothogs want to peek, but they don't got their heart in it. They're going to play behind this battalions, which right now is getting about halfway there, and if they can build this after an Uber trade or something like that, they're in a really, really good spot to potentially push out or just hold and reset the timer once again already, which, you know, not looking good for the first match of the season, but, you know, you got to play for the win. 20 seconds left. They check the off classes, and the Cell are taking a little too long. When they get in this point, it's going to be 10 seconds, and the Uber, if you did not know, lasts for about 8 seconds. So the Dothogs can just sit on point and pop, and it looks like this went so poorly, they're just gonna go back to mid, which, so far, if you're the Cell, I'd be fine going back to mid at this point.
Yeah, that is true. Even though Vassell weren't able to make anything happen this time, their mids have looked very, very good. Just like you said, playing standard, not doing anything too spectacular. They've just been able to outspam the Greasy Dothogs, partially because, like you said, the soldiers maybe just taking a bit too much damage early on, and Sin Karma as well, getting just maybe disconnected from the beam and not able to receive all the heals and tanking that he needs. But now, on to the 4th mid, only 1 round gone for one of the teams, but again, Paldog very aggressive on the Dingo, gets piped mid-air, but Dingo does go down off of that, so the soldier aggression this time has been able to work out for the Greasy Dothogs, and off of that 1 pick alone, they're going to win mid for the first time this match and this season, and now they're going to be the ones in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and that's what needs to happen. If you're selling out your health to be aggressive, you sold out the health of all 3 projectiles, basically. You need to get positioning a pick, and they get the best pick you can possibly get, and it completely shuts out the mid, which, you know, is going to make the Cell think more about being comfortable for a round reset, take more risks. If you can't win mids consistently, you don't want to be set back to mids over and over again, and 2 players going down. Actually trading 2 for 2. Popple in onto Hubert. Hubert is going to be forced to pop in as a really, really bad Uber on the side. And Popple is going to actually end up having the opportunity to just leave entirely and just basically get a force and just walk back out, which is clean.
That is very, very clean from Pablo. It was also clean, I think, from Paldog. He had a nice rocket onto one of the scouts on Vassell, but either way, that is going to put Greasy Dothogs into a very favorable position. They've got Uber advantage, and they're immediately working their way in over through Valley. We do have high fives going in for the early bomb, maybe a bit too early, because instead it's going to be coming in through lower. They missed the call, and now the soldiers could be caught out here, and they are going to be able to clean both of those picks up. Now, Vassell have to back up. They don't have any projectiles aside from Dingo, so they have to make sure that they keep him alive. They are at 70%, so they could get this, but Shamu is so deep before having to use this Uber.
And just a great play from Soar, blocking 2, so Hubert can just play and spawn and get Uber, and Soar gets the kill on the Loaf, which is going to shut this down entirely. They get Dingo down, but that's not enough. A giant Uber ad on the side of the Cell. Soar's going to end up going down to Pablo, which that is a great play from him. It does not matter what happens after that. They can now wait for Soar to come up and kind of start pushing out. And at this point, they may want to reset again. If they really have that much confidence in mid, they're not going to push out. But if they do reset again, that is going to take us to our infinite overtime, where 2 rounds will be the round win limit. So let's see if the Dothogs can make something happen this time.
Well, it seems like we are going to be going to a reset, because Soar is up on Engineer, and if they were going to push out, they would have done it already, and the Soar would not be up on the Sentry Gun man class. So that does give the Greasy Dothogs, like you said, a bit more of an opportunity to try and get something happening. They haven't been able to do it last time with Pablo up on Sniper Raven, just spy checking everything, and not too surprising to see that the Greasy Dothogs don't have an off class, because they were all up before the Cell decided not to push out, so they haven't really had an opportunity to get on an off class. But after this first round of initial sacks from them, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Pablo head back up onto the Sniper class, maybe even Paldog on Spy if they're feeling really, really cheeky about things, and try and get some type of momentum going here.
Well, it's been a minute and they haven't actually peeked a door, so this is an interesting strategy, really getting them bored before peeking, but they have not tried a thing. So that's not giving me the most confidence. Their trying is back to the Paldog peeking the high ground soldier, which, no offense to Paldog or anybody, you're not winning that fight. Headshot coming in, and from the trend of what's happening, it's going to turn into a lot of nothing. But, you know, maybe we'll see some interesting off-class action. Both teams kind of just chilling out, Raven on the Sniper, punishing the 1 peek that's been consistently happening. And does Paldog have anything interesting? Absolutely nothing on his shoes or his back.
Nope. It is just going to be standard 6s for the Greasy Dothogs at the moment, not doing anything too wacky or crazy. So really all eyes presumably on these soldiers. I would love to see them go for some type of bigger sack wave, maybe put all 3 the two soldiers and Pablo in. But Sin Karma going down to sticky traps is definitely not how you want to start that sack wave, as now they're immediately backing out. This is definitely still holdable, but if you are Vassell, you do want to try and peek and prod with this.
Big bomb from Greg, gets a little bit of damage, not quite enough, and that's going to be a late death. Raven getting picked off really deep in the drop.
What?
Coming out onto Dank. Sticky trap. Dingo getting a pipe kill. 3 players down, and it's all exploding everywhere. It's just Paul Dog left. He's going to stand on a sticky. And Pablo and Sin Karma can try and make a play here. But we've officially gotten into infinite overtime. And there are... Well, the win limit's 2 rounds. So 1 round for the cell. 2 rounds for Greasy Dothogs. Oh my... The patented Greasy Dothogs double spy. It is pretty late to do this. They'd have to stall for so long to be able to get this back up, and it looks like the Cellar taking a while, but this is the only team I see consistently do this.
Pablo is just causing chaos right now. Sin Karma trying to go for the point. He has to block this. Shamu is now trying to pistol down Hubert. Hubert is not doing anything, but the backup does come in. And he gets it.
Insane. Oh you don't understand. Shamu decloaks on last. I don't know if this is on purpose. He decloaks on last and walks into lobby, so High Five's like, I'm fine. Let me go chase this guy. Loaf is cloaked and just waits for him to leave and then stands on last, because who runs the double spy on the Metalworks? I've seen it on like Gully, but Metalworks, they're revolutionizing not being able to push last. Still win rounds.
That is fantastic, as we do have another mid. It is 1-1, so whoever wins this round, no matter how many mids it takes, is going to be the victor. Paul Dog a bit early there, trying to get some early spam on to the team, but Dingo is actually going to be the first to fall. Pablo is going to be traded out as well. Paul Dog over in the backlines is so weak, but doing a bit of damage, just drawing some eyes, maybe getting some space if they're able to take it, but they're so far back, they have all fallen. Shamu just trying to do anything at all. It's not going to happen. That's going to be a mid-win for the Cell. The silver lining for them is that both medics did go down, so the Cell aren't going to be able to immediately walk in onto their last with Uber advantage.
Hubert looking like a fish out of water, just standing, kind of staring at the scout. Ends up living and then ends up just walking right back into Shamu getting picked off. But with that being said, at least they're going to get 2 or not. They just barely don't get the cap. And the Dothogs have held 2, which is a way better situation than they could have been in. Especially because whoever wins this next round wins the game. This is for everything. And now it's going to be on the Cell to kind of break this stalemate, which they've been a lot more active and aggro with this, which could be to their benefit or deficit.
It could definitely be, as they're just going to be healing up, building that Uber before they maybe try and go for anything too aggressive. Actually, as I say that, they are peeking. You can immediately see Loaf in Paul Dog bombing him, trying to get on the Hubert. He dodges, but the stickies from Sin Karma clean him up. Greg in the backlines is going to go down, and now Sor running in, maybe trying to see if he can get this final kill onto Shamu, is going to get it, and that has been a wipe. Everyone on the Greasy Dothogs go down. They do find one with their aggression, but there's no one up on the point. Dingo is just going to lock down all of these spawn doors. Can they get on the point in time? No! And that is going to be the second round of the game, going in the favor of the Cell, all off of that extremely aggressive play from the Greasy Dothogs.
That was so confusing. They all just blew up, and, you know, the Cell came up on top. And that is a big way to start the season, especially with a new roster. They have a lot of experienced players, but this is a really, really good way to start the season and get the momentum rolling. And it's going to be on the Dothogs now to kind of make up for this loss in that playoff race that is going to start getting closer and closer as the season ticks on. But a great game and a great win from the Cell, and showing that they're the real deal.
Yeah, they are indeed the real deal. If anyone doubted them, and looking at the stats for the match, Greg, top damager, so, you know, he might be new to Invite, but he's already pulling his weight around.
He might be the GOAT.
He could just very well be the GOAT. Otherwise, Paul Dog as well, you know, Metalworks, it's a very soldier-friendly map, so not too surprised to see them. But otherwise, I mean, just looking at it, you know, medics fairly even. Maybe you could argue Shamu and Pablo having a bit of a quiet game, but you also have to think they were on their last for so much of that, or just trying to push last. And not really the ones making the plays. I was kind of falling onto the soldier duos instead, so not too surprising to see them down there. But otherwise, just a very, very close, all things considered. I mean, you look at the mid wins, that was much more favorably for Vassell, but otherwise, in terms of actual kind of pushes and team fights, it was going back and forth there.
Yeah, and I think the main kind of highlight is the flank of the cell really coming up big. A couple more of the newer players on the team really showing up and showing out. And we are joined by the man himself, Hubert the Fish.
Yo, what's up, guys?
How'd the match go for you?
That sucked ass. It was really boring and nothing happened, so I don't know. That was like really bad. That was unfun.
That was a very
Like-
Metalworks match.
It wasn't even like I was dying a bunch. It was just like boring, so I don't know.
Well, besides this match itself, getting into this new season, how are you feeling about the new squad? How'd this come together?
So we took the best players from the wall and we took the best players from the Chuds, and now we're making an invite-winning super team. The best players being me and Soar and Raven and Dingo. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Greg's our newcomer and he top damaged the server, so that should basically give you like an insight of to what to expect for the rest of the season. And then High Five is our fearless leader. Our established fearless leader. So yeah.
As opposed to the unestablished fearless leader. But overall, so Greg
Yeah.
is not allowed to not top damage for any match this season, is what we're
Nope.
saying here.
And
Okay.
if he doesn't,
Wow.
if he doesn't top damage any match, he's cut.
Oh wow.
Oh,
And we're
God.
getting Della.
That's a way to get some results. Just hang that over his head the
Wow.
entire season. But,
Yep.
a recipe for success. Take the best players from teams, merge them together, and this is a great first match to start the season. How are we feeling about this season overall? What's the goal?
The goal is to beat everyone. 16-0 and then sweep playoffs.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like
Yeah.
that confidence.
Pretty simple goal, I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully there's more actions in the future matches, but overall just a really kind of refreshing, aggressive play style. How do the comms look? Is Kyle, her High Five, your fearless calling leader as well?
So the fearless calling leaders, so we have, I mean, Raven is main calling, and then, I don't know, everyone kind of chips in a bit, There's not one real, like, fearless leader in the comms, so maybe we have
Fearless
to figure
team.
that out, but, like, everyone's kind of a fearless caller, and there's not one individual fearless leader.
Well, how are you feeling coming into this season? You learn anything from the last one? You ready for the challenge coming up?
I learned everyone sucks except for me, and we're gonna beat everyone. Like, I don't know, that's all there really is to learn.
Yeah, if you really think about it that way, that's pretty easy. Just go 16-0, be the best. Greg top damages every game.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
That's really, like, the key to this season is Greg has to do everything. And if he doesn't,
And Della. That's the
then
next
we'll get
result,
Della
right?
and he'll
Okay.
do everything, yeah.
That's true. But what if you got the Della Greg super team? That would be banned. You can't.
Yeah, but I mean, we'd have to get rid of someone for Della, and unfortunately no one else has the strings attached to them except for Greg, so...
Well, any
Yeah.
questions from UTC? And a pretty insightful interview here.
I guess obviously you guys are gonna beat everyone 16-0. That's already established. But
Yeah.
who do you think your strongest competition is gonna be this season? Or who do you think might be like a little bit of a dark horse?
Dark Horse?
Yeah.
The Zam team. I don't know if they're a dark horse, but that's been our strongest competition so far.
Ooh, the Franz J presents the
Yeah,
Lol Guy
yeah.
Exile. Okay.
Yeah.
We definitely got some squads coming into the season, as opposed to some previous ones. But with 2 lands brewing up, I think everyone's kind of getting into gear, getting ready for the big international land and RGL land season in the summers. It's all gonna start cooking up as we kind of go through it. Are you guys planning on going to land?
I can't answer that. You'll have to wait and see.
Okay. We'll wait for the big announcement.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pending. All right.
like
Well,
that.
otherwise, thank you everyone coming out. Great first match of the season, and I think we're expecting some future good ones as well.
Yeah, it should be a very, very good season, hopefully, with a lot of great teams playing. But Hubert, any shout outs you'd like to give before we sign
Shout
off?
out to my team and anti shout out to Loaf. Fuck you, Loaf.
Jeez.
That's all I got.
Fair enough. Marmaloo, any shout outs you'd like to give?
Shout out to the boys, you know. Shout out to Chat, Dolphin, TC, Hubert the Fish, and you know, shout out to my girlfriend. You know, good season coming up.
Yeah, I'll give mine quickly. Shout outs to you, Marmaloo, as well, Dolphin as well for all the production stuff he does behind the scenes. Shout out to chat, all the players for playing, Hubert for this lovely, phenomenal interview. Excited to see how you guys go 16-0, and for Greg to top damage, excited to see that one. But in addition to that, shout outs to the merch. You think I'd forget? We got some merch. Buy it, wear it, check it out. Show up to lands, plural, in it, because we got multiple coming up. It should be very, very exciting to see. But other than that, this has been Vassell versus the Greasy Dothogs. Vassell winning it 2-1 on Metalworks. We'll be live, I think, tomorrow night with another match. So stay tuned. And otherwise, hope you have a good one. See ya.